The transmission came at the worst possible time. High Chancellor Zareth of the Galactic Council had been mid-speech, his 6 luminous eyes scanning the chamber filled with representatives from 47 star systems, when the emergency beacon shattered the diplomatic silence like a fist through glass. Every alien face in the chamber turned toward the holographic display. Every breath, whether drawn through gills, spiracles, or filtration membranes, went still. 3 words pulsed in crimson across the starfield projection. Humans are coming. Counselor Joe, the small 4-armed Velthian delegate, dropped her ceremonial inkwell. It clattered against the obsidian floor in a silence so absolute the sound echoed twice. Zareth, she whispered, her translator implant rendering the word in 32 languages simultaneously. The border sensors, all of them? All of them, confirmed New York, the data reader assigned to the Council's war table. His elongated fingers trembled as he scrolled through the readout. 42 human warships. No, 57. They are recalibrating speed in real time. They are accelerating. How, asked me, the Drathian intelligence officer, whose species had spent 3 centuries studying humanity from a careful distance. Her compound eyes blinked in rapid succession, the Drathian equivalent of terror. They were supposed to be contained at the Outer Rim Accord boundary. They signed the treaty themselves. They signed it, said High, the eldest member of the Council, a being who had lived through 5 galactic wars and the collapse of 2 empires. His voice was low and ancient. Humans sign many things. They also build things. Quietly. While everyone is watching their signatures. The chamber erupted. Part 2, The Admiral. On the bridge of the ISV Unconquered Sun, Admiral Darian Voss stood with his hands clasped behind his back and watched the stars bend. He was not a large man. He was not particularly dramatic in appearance, gray at the temples, a jaw that had absorbed too many hard conversations, eyes that had seen the darker side of the universe and had chosen, deliberately, not to look away. He wore his rank like a second skin, quietly, without performance. Behind him, his bridge crew worked with the focused silence of people who had trained for this moment for 4 years and were only now allowing themselves to believe it was real. Admiral, said Lieutenant Wa, the ship's navigation officer, a young woman who had grown up on a station at the edge of explored space. We're being hailed. Galactic Council frequency. High Chancellor Zareth himself. Voss let the silence breathe for exactly 3 seconds. Then, put him on. The holographic field shimmered. High Chancellor Zareth materialized, 7 feet of crystalline-boned authority, his ceremonial robes the deep violet of Valyrian royalty, his 6 eyes converging on Voss with something that was, unmistakably, fear wearing the mask of outrage. Admiral Voss. Zareth's translator rendered his voice as cold and formal as a court sentence. You are in violation of the Outer Rim Accord. You will halt your fleet immediately and submit to Council jurisdiction, or face the full military response of 47 aligned civilizations. Voss nodded, as if he had just been told the temperature outside. High Chancellor. With respect, no. The silence on the Council's end was extraordinary. Part 3, What Zareth did not understand. What the Galactic Council had never quite grasped, what me and her intelligence reports had danced around without ever landing on, was the particular nature of human patience. Every species in the galaxy had patience of a kind. The Velthians could wait decades for a legal negotiation to resolve. The Drathians could hibernate through entire star cycles. The ancient High had once sat still for 11 years waiting for a political climate to shift. But human patience was a different creature entirely. Human patience was not stillness. It was construction. Every year the Outer Rim Accord had kept humanity at the boundary, humans had been building. Not loudly, quietly. In the dark of unmonitored space, in the hidden shipyards of Kepler Station and the deep manufacturing bays of Mars Orbital 7. They had been building drives that folded space in ways the Council's engineers had declared theoretically impossible. They had been building weapons systems that had no analog in any galactic database. And they had been waiting. Not for permission. For the right moment. That moment had been the colony ship Day, a civilian vessel, unarmed, carrying 4,000 human settlers to a newly terraformed world inside the boundary of Council-claimed space. The Day had been intercepted by a Council patrol. The settlers had been given 72 hours to abandon their ship and their new world. They had 72 hours to understand that the Galactic Council had decided that humanity's expansion would end here. That the stars beyond a certain line simply did not belong to them. 4,000 civilians. Families. Children who had been born aboard the Day and had never known a planet. The Council's patrol had waited 72 hours and then opened fire on the drive systems of the Day, leaving it adrift. A mercy, they called it. A demonstration of restraint. Admiral Darian Voss had received the report while sitting in a debriefing room on Earth Station 1. He had read it twice. Then he had folded the document, set it on the table, and said to the room, "Schedule a fleet review for Monday." That had been 4 years ago. Part 4, The Conversation. Admiral Voss. High Chancellor Zaretha's voice carried the full weight of galactic authority. You cannot win this. You are 57 ships against the military capability of 47 civilizations. You are one species against the combined wisdom of thousands of years of galactic cooperation. High Chancellor, Voss said, I'm not here to win a war. Zareth paused. Then what are you here for? To make sure you understand something. Voss moved to the viewport. The stars were steady and cold and ancient. When the Council intercepted the Day, you made a calculation. You assumed that humanity would do what we have always done when outmatched, protest, negotiate, and ultimately accept the boundary you drew for us. That is the nature of civilization, Zareth said. Restraint. Compromise. Yes, Voss agreed. We tried that. For 30 years, we tried that. And every decade, the boundary moved a little closer. Every decade, the terms got a little worse. He turned back to face Zaretha's projection. We are not here to negotiate a new boundary, High Chancellor. We are here to inform you that the old one no longer exists. Counselor Joe, visible at the edge of the transmission, spoke up. You are threatening war. No. Voss shook his head slowly. I am ending one. The war you declared on the Day and everyone aboard her. The war you've been fighting against us with paperwork and patrol ships and quiet starvation of our expansion. That war is over. Data Reader New York looked up from his console. His face had gone the pale color of shock. Admiral, our long-range sensors are detecting, this cannot be correct. He turned the display toward the Chancellor. Behind the 57 ships of the human vanguard, stretching back into the deep dark of unsurveyed space, were more. Many more. Not warships alone, colony vessels, science platforms, construction arrays. Humanity had not just come to fight. Humanity had come to stay. High, the oldest member of the Council, looked at the display for a long time. Then, very quietly, he began to laugh, a sound like wind through ancient stone. What? Zareth turned. High. What is? I have seen this before, High said. Not from humans. But I have seen this. Do you know what it is, Chancellor? He gestured at the spreading field of human ships. It is a people who have decided. Not voted. Not debated. Decided. And when a people decides, truly decides, there is no force in any galaxy that has ever turned them back. He settled back into his seat. I suggest we talk to Admiral Voss. Not as authority to subject. As neighbors. Part 5. What came after? The transmission from High Chancellor Zareth that followed was not a threat. It was not a demand. It was, haltingly and with great difficulty, an invitation. Admiral Darian Voss accepted it. calmly, without triumph in his voice, because this had never been about triumph. Behind him, Lieutenant Will allowed herself a single, private smile. Somewhere in the fleet, aboard a refitted colony ship sailing under the name Day 2, 4,000 settlers looked at the stars ahead of them, stars that were finally, unambiguously, theirs to reach, and did not look back. The Galactic Council would spend the next decade rewriting its charter. Every species represented there would carry a new understanding into the next century of galactic history. Humanity did not ask for the stars. Humanity arrived. And the stars, in the end, were large enough for everyone.